King Kong. As soon as I say it, I don't care if you're in Saskatoon or Shanghai, you think of size, strength, brutality, certain tragic nobility, Dostoevsky. Whoa. Some of you are saying, I didn't think of Dostoevsky. I thought of a guy in an unconvincing rubber suit climbing a fake building, swatting at some airplanes, then falling off and making a mess you wouldn't want to be stuck with a job of cleaning up. But the point is, no matter who you are, no matter where you are, you thought of something. Kong is an instant classic, an enduring tale. And that's why I compare him to Dostoevsky. Because what does a giant ape have to do with a Russian writer? Well, you see, like Dostoevsky, Kong is part of the canon. Here I'm talking about the film canon, not the literary canon. And one advantage of the film canon, by the way, of course, it's shorter because films haven't been with us all that long. There's been people writing books for a lot longer. But it's important in both cases to be familiar with the traditions. If you try and show modern people, especially jaded modern youth, the original King Kong, they are liable to laugh at it. They're liable to object to a giant ape existing at all, let alone fighting a Tyrannosaurus. There's some unconvincing science in there. But if people have that reaction, well, I try and tell them, well, look at the movies that you enjoy today and think of the directors who made them. What inspired them to make movies? Well, they were watching movies like Star Wars or Jaws when they were kids. And then what about the people who directed Star Wars or Jaws? Why did they become directors? What were they watching? The Blob? I mean, okay, look, if you watch The Blob today, you may think the plot is unreasonable, the acting is perhaps not of the highest caliber throughout, and the Blob looks, as I heard one kid put it, like all the jam in the world. The special effects are not that great. But if you can suspend disbelief, there's a marvelous adventure there, an adventure that inspired people who made movies that inspired people who make the movies you enjoy today. And of course, the people who made movies like The Blob and, well, I don't know, Attack of the Giant Leeches, perhaps I shouldn't bring that one in there, but they've been watching movies like King Kong, The Wolfman, Dracula. And however lacking they may be in special effects, however theatrical they may be in what's now a pejorative sense, that is, they owe so much to their links to the theater, which is where everybody was acting until the movies came along, if we can suspend disbelief, and in some cases, and perhaps Kong is an example of this, you don't just suspend disbelief, you actually put it in a rocket and send it into Earth orbit. There's a lot of effort involved there. If you can do it and see that movie as it was originally seen by audiences, open-mouthed, with amazement, and with horror, with joy, with excitement, wanting to be part of it, wanting to have this kind of adventure, then you're going to have a better appreciation, not just for the evolution of movies, but for the movies we see today because of the technical improvements that have been made by people who were inspired by those films and thought, what story can I tell? How can I tell it better? Now, Kong is an enduring classic for all kinds of reasons, not merely the beautiful woman in peril in a flimsy dress who's really good at screaming. You see, Kong climbs the Empire State Building. It's the tallest building in the world at the time. He's shot down by airplanes, the ultimate emblem of modernity. Think of the popularity of Charles Lindbergh in those times. And Kong represents, okay, primitive, yes, but also some feeling that there are problems with modernity, that Kong, being wrenched out of the place where he belonged, put on display, made a spectacle, and then betrayed by love and crushed by a callous modern world, that speaks to something in us. There's the nobility in Kong. There are elements of that tale that are epics. And that's why it still has enduring value, and lucky is that kid who watches it before they become jaded. But for all of us, if we really want to appreciate culture, whether it's literature or films or music, we need to know the history of it. We need to know what Mozart was listening to, as well as the fact that Beethoven was listening to Mozart, to understand the development, the conversation, to get a full and proper appreciation of the depth of something like Dostoevsky. You got to start with that guy in the rubber suit climbing that building and swatting the biplanes. King Kong came into our lives, actually there was a book and a comic, but he really entered our lives on March 2nd, 1933. He has never left, and I hope he never does. Doesn't mean I want him visiting my house. If you're enjoying these commentaries, please go to my website, that's www.johnrobson.ca, and make a contribution to help sustain my work. It doesn't have to be a Kong-sized contribution, though that would certainly be welcome. And keep listening to The Rebel, keep supporting The Rebel, keep subscribing to The Rebel for that news and commentary that you will not get anywhere else.